It means you can change the way it feels by changing the way you're looking at what you're looking at. And that, if you do that frequently, you will actually little change. I'll go back to the slide, and you will be changing. Oops, went the wrong way. Okay, so when you do it and you change your habit of thought, then it's feeding your mood in a way that's going to make you feel better more often. We don't have power to change our emotional state. The researchers have theorized that the reason is because the emotional state is guidance. It'd be like your eyesight, when you walk across the room, your eyesight is giving you guidance about where to go. Well, emotions are a feedback system. The researchers actually say that it is our earliest feedback system, that it's such a natural part of who and what we are that we don't even know it's happening. But if you take someone who has had a brain injury and can no longer feel their emotions, they can't even decide what to eat. That is how much our emotions impact our decisions. We just don't know it because it's a seamless process. We try to be analytical and unemotional. There's 156 biases that have been documented in our thought process in our brain. And those biases are based on underlying things that we believe about the world. Our emotions actually bypass, I call the biases filters because bias has a negative connotation. The emotions bypass those filters. I've been living my life for a decade now, paying attention to how it feels as my prime. I didn't start that way. I was very analytical, very in my head, and at first I said, okay, this is what I would do with my analytical piece. What do my emotions say? And I took baby steps and started saying, okay, it doesn't really matter if I'm right or wrong on this decision. I'm going to go and see if this really works the way they say it's going to work. And it did. And then after a while, it was like, forget about that analytical part. I'm going to do, yes, Tom?
Is emotional state biological?
No.
No?
But your biology changes with your biology changes with your emotion. You can actually, does anybody in here hate to do public speaking? Okay, good. So, if you were sitting there, relaxed, kind of having a good time, having a glass of wine, and we took a cortisol sample, a stress hormone sample from your cheek, and then I said, you've got to get up here and talk for 5 minutes, and we took another sample, your chemistry in your body has changed significantly. Not only that, your immune system would have gone down, your cognitive function would have gone down, your digestive function would go down, and your central nervous system would be impacted. All of those happen when you get stressed. And so we can't, so they...
Well, I would say yes to that question.
Well, there is a way, for example, when you go running, then you get the runner's high. So then the body changes the mood. So they're interrelated like this. This is the easier way to change them though. But yes, and there's other things. For example, massage can make you feel a lot better. Or just putting lotion on or getting in a hot tub. So there are things that are physical that can do it. So my no was premature, but it's, those change focus, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. The emotional state, we can't change it directly. Suppression is one way people try to do that directly, but I've mentioned before that's got the worst results of any sort of technique. So, but we can change our thoughts, and that's where the magic happens. So if you've got unhealthy thoughts, you can get trapped and in them, but you can change them. You're trapped until you try to change them. And if you don't know how to change them, you're trapped. Skills can increase the level of positive emotions that individuals experience over time. And it actually can change the way you look at the world all the time without thought after you use it for a while. So why is there such a mental health issue in this country? Why are so many people not happy? Because happy is really where it's fun. If you're not happy, it's not really fun, right? So if you were evaluating a company and their current ratio was 1, and you've been charged with the task, I'm assuming in this room that means something to everybody? Does that mean? Okay. So you've been charged with evaluating this company and to tell your boss or to use your own money and buy this company, whether or not that is good. But you were taught that a 1 is a great ratio. And so you say, yeah, it's a good deal. Ratio's not wrong. Ratio's 1. You've got faulty interpretation data. The other example I use, I tried to do that with something that would resonate with you guys. The other example is if you have a recipe and you have a meat thermometer and you're going to cook a chicken and your recipe says that chicken is done at 120 degrees. So you put your meat thermometer in the chicken and you cook it to 120 degrees and then you serve it to your guests. You're serving raw chicken. Okay? Meat thermometer worked perfectly. Nothing wrong with it. But you had faulty instructions. That's what's happened with emotions. The new evidence-based theory of emotions completely changes the old paradigm. So our emotions are a sensory feedback system, and I already said this stuff. So emotions tell us whether our perspective is leading us towards self-actualization or away from self-actualization. So what is self-actualization? Anybody wanna? Okay. Self-actualization is your best potential self. You'll never get there because as soon as you get better, as soon as you know more, or you've got more skills or anything else, your potential increases. But when you're moving in the direction of becoming the best you that you can be, whether it's at work or at home or in a sport, wherever it is, if you're moving in the direction, if you're improving, you're moving in that direction. And if you think about your life, when you were learning a skill and you were improving and you knew you were getting better, you felt good. So that's what that emotion is telling you. It's telling you you're moving in the direction of self-actualization. So, for example, you said you don't want to do manufacturing. So if I told you I could give you exactly the job you want, with 150% of the pay you want, but it's got to be in manufacturing, your gut just went, oh no, I don't want that. That's your guidance. That's your emotions telling you that that's not your self-actualized self. And so it's unique to each of us because none of us want the same things. We may want a job as a CFO or something like that that's the same. But the criteria that we evaluate that job by is different. It's unique to each one of us. We might not want to commute more than 20 minutes or more than an hour, or we might want to stay in Charlotte. We might want to go live in Hawaii. There's all sorts of different criteria, and each person's criteria are unique.